Good morning, eighth graders. So sorry about the voice. This is the best I have today, apparently. um, so we are going to be talking about our 3.6.0 project assessment, planetary data and design. So hopefully at this point in time, you have already completed the first page, which involves getting your graphs done. Okay, so all of them should be completed and colored and all of that. As well as page 2, the 3 short answer questions, numbers 7, 8, and 9. Hopefully that has all been complete at this point in time. So the next part we're going to talk about is the actual planetary design. So now that you have a better understanding of a planet's characteristics and placement, you are tasked in creating your own planet. You will complete the required items below as well as develop a description for your planet. Be sure to remain appropriate. So, on page 3, you are going to be creating your own planet. I say leave the name till last because that's the least important part of this whole process, but start creating your planet how you want it to look. So you need to identify its mass in kilograms. We wrote it in scientific notation, remember? So keep that in mind as you go through and create yours. Its diameter, the distance from the sun, which that one you might have to just come back to because I am going to recommend just coming up with all of the other characteristics before you try to place it within the solar system at this point in time. This will just make your life a little bit easier because after you create the planet you want, it'll start taking on certain characteristics that, as we have learned, it can only fit into certain areas within our solar system. So come back to distance from the sun. Then you need to work on period of rotation. So remember, that's the day, how many hours. That's written in hours. And then you have period of revolution, so years. That might also be attributed to the AU and where it's going to be placed in the solar system. Ratio of gravity to Earth. How much gravity or how little gravity might it have? And then number of moons. That one's more so just for fun. But keep in mind, its size does determine the amount of potential moons it can actually hold. Okay, so that. After you've done that, then comes the CER portion. And like I told you in class, I dislike writing in science. So when we have to do it, we are going to lay it out as easy as we can. So, number 17 asks or states claim which two planets or celestial objects, so this could be the sun, any of the 4 inner planets, the asteroid belt, any of the 4 outer planets, and then the Kuiper belt. Okay? So which two planets or celestial objects is your planet located between the solar system? So you should give me 2. My planet or planet whatever is found between this object and this object. That is your claim. But write it in a complete sentence. That is what is killing some of you in your scoring because you're not actually explaining to where if I were to give this paper to a different teacher, like say our social studies teacher or our math teacher, are they going to know exactly what you're talking about? I know, but would anyone else know? Okay. Then number 18, explain using evidence. You have from number 11 through 16. So all of the information you write up here is going to be used within your evidence. And as to why your planet is located in the position you placed it for number 18. You need to provide at least 2 reasons as to why your placement is correct due to your planet's characteristics. This should be written in a well-developed paragraph. So, planet whatever is located here due to its mass being X and taking on these types of characteristics. So, something along those lines. And then finally, number 19. This is just where it gets a little fun. I want you to write a fun or interesting description of your planet. This is a chance for you to have more fun with your planet's design, characteristics, etc. See the examples online for some ideas, or feel free to research what other authors or directors have done for their creations in their books or their movies. So we took this kind of from like how you would explain some of the planets in Star Wars or other sci-fi sort of movies. They're not like the planets that we have within our solar system. So you really need to describe it in good detail so that anyone who looks at your planet is like, oh, like that would be really cool to visit, or that's really scary. I don't want to hang out where there's giant worms all over the planet. No. Things like that. So that's just for fun, but please, please, please put some thought into it. And then number 20 states, complete your project by making a poster. Take a large piece of paper and design your planet, as well as put information from 10 through 17 on your poster. You do not have to draw all the moons your planet may actually be holding as satellites. An example is provided. So there are examples on our front tables, so you can kind of take a peek there. But what I have here with me today is just simply this. Okay, on our front lab stations, there is a giant bucket, and by giant I mean just this big of a bucket, that you can use to outline your planet. So all I did was I took my paper, I folded it in half so that the planet takes up half of it, because I want to be able to put in great detail what's going on my planet, whether that means I add a moon or two, whether that means I can add a ring system, what have you, depending on where my planet would fall in our solar system. Then on the other half, this is where you're going to put like the name of your planet. You're going to write out all of your descriptors. So basically you're going to take this page and be able to put it there. But I want you to write it. Or if you have a writing accommodation, type it up, email it to me, and I'll make sure that I get it printed out so that we can put it on here. But it should look like an information poster. The example that we have on our front lab stations have more detail as far as what we would be expecting on that page. But I left some just regular like printer paper up at my front lab station. Sorry, I'm recording this because I'm not in school this year, at least, when we're doing this project for a curriculum writing day. So that's why I'm talking in these weird sort of like, I left this for you. But there's printer paper on my front lab station. You can start kind of like writing things out if you want to, even like if you end up writing really nicely on that paper and you want to cut it out and paste it on, I'm not going to judge. So that there's a reason why I didn't write anything on here. And then put detail. I want to be able to hang these up and like show off to grown-ups because these are due on Wednesday and we have conferences on Thursday. I want to be able to like show this off and be like, look at the planets we created. Like these are awesome. So yeah, that. So I want you to take some time and get the poster done. And then finally, there are 4 more questions, short answer questions on the very back of this packet. It is page 4 technically. And it's essentially just justifying your reasoning in your planet creation again. So if you have any questions, obviously when you're watching this, I'm not actually in school today, but email me, ask your teachers, what have you. I cannot wait to see all of the exciting planets that you have created. I will have a couple extra like description examples placed in Schoology for you. Um, yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Thank you so much, eighth graders. Have a great day.